Most everyday objects are judged by how well they disappear. When they work, we stop seeing them. The sticky note is a perfect example of this kind of success. It lives on desks, walls, refrigerators, monitors, notebooks, and doors, quietly absorbing thoughts, reminders, and half-formed ideas, then vanishing without complaint when it's no longer needed. Its design feels so obvious that it's easy to assume it could only have turned out this way. But it didn't. Before the sticky note existed, there was no clean category for temporary information in physical space. Writing was an act of commitment. Paper captured thoughts permanently. If you wanted flexibility, you had to accept fragility. Loose notes were easy to lose. Secure attachments required tools that damaged surfaces or the note itself. Tape tore paper and left residue. Pins punctured. Clips required edges. Magnets only worked in certain places. Every solution leaned too far in one direction, either too permanent or too unstable. This created a subtle friction in everyday thinking. People hesitate to write something down if they know it will outlive its usefulness. They avoid placing notes where removal will cause damage or mess. As a result, many reminders remain in the mind, where they compete with everything else and fade under pressure. The problem wasn't just storage, it was timing. Human thought is provisional. We revise, reprioritize, and abandon ideas constantly. Physical tools, however, tended to treat every written mark as final. The sticky note emerges precisely at this tension point. Its most important feature isn't that it sticks. It's that it sticks imperfectly, in a controlled and predictable way. The adhesive holds just enough to resist gravity and airflow, but not enough to resist intention. This creates a new kind of relationship between the object and the user. You are never fighting it. You are never committing to it. You are borrowing space. That design choice required rejecting the traditional goal of adhesives, which had always been about strength, permanence, and reliability under stress. The sticky note doesn't aim to survive storms, heat, or time. It assumes a short life. It is designed to fail gracefully, not catastrophically. When it falls, nothing breaks. When it's removed, nothing is damaged. When it loses its grip, it has already done its job. The size of the sticky note reinforces this philosophy. It is intentionally constrained. You cannot comfortably write a long essay on it. You cannot archive a detailed plan. This limitation nudges the user toward brevity and prioritization. Only what matters now belongs there. Everything else can wait for a more permanent medium. The object quietly edits your thinking, encouraging clarity without instruction. Color plays a similar role. The classic bright yellow isn't decorative, it's functional. It contrasts with most surfaces without overwhelming them. It draws the eye just enough to be noticed repeatedly, but not enough to dominate attention. Other colors extend this logic, allowing categorization without hierarchy. None of them signal urgency by default. The urgency comes from placement, not from design. Placement itself becomes part of the system. A sticky note on a monitor is different from one on a door or a fridge. The object adapts to context rather than enforcing one. It turns physical space into a map of intention. You don't just write reminders, you stage them. The note becomes a temporary extension of your mind, anchored to the environment where action will occur. There's an important trade-off embedded here. The sticky note is not secure. It can fall. It can be removed by someone else. It can be lost. But this vulnerability is intentional. It prevents over-reliance. It reminds the user that this is a thinking aid, not a storage solution. Important information still belongs elsewhere. The sticky note lives in the margin between thought and action. This is where the realization tends to happen. The sticky note isn't a productivity tool in the traditional sense. It doesn't optimize efficiency. It doesn't organize complexity. What it actually does is reduce psychological resistance. It lowers the cost of writing something down. There is no penalty for being wrong, changing your mind, or throwing the note away. That freedom encourages engagement. People write more when they don't feel trapped by what they've written. In that sense, the sticky note isn't designed around paper or glue. It's designed around human hesitation. It acknowledges that most thoughts are drafts, that reminders expire, that plans shift. And instead of forcing permanence onto a temporary mental state, it offers a medium that matches the lifespan of the thought itself. The object's success lies in how carefully it refuses to overperform. Stronger adhesive would make it worse. Larger size would make it intimidating. Thinner paper would feel disposable in the wrong way. Thicker paper would feel too formal. Every design choice circles the same invisible goal: stay useful without demanding attention. When you remove a sticky note, the surface returns to normal. No scar, no residue, no evidence of interruption. That may be the most radical feature of all. The object leaves no trace of having existed, even though it briefly shaped behavior. And that's the quiet brilliance of the sticky note. It doesn't try to be remembered. It exists to help you remember, just long enough.